And good afternoon to you. Welcome to a very special 4 to 5. We have finally our new anchor here on this. We've been waiting for weeks. Lauren Coleman, everybody.
There she is.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing today?
I'm so excited that Lauren is here. Of course, Eric is here as always.
Yep, Maddie, Jalen, Tanya. I never actually leave. That's the problem.
He lives here.
Tanya's here too. She's over there. Yeah.
It's an exciting day here on the 4 to 5. And as always, you can chat with us during the break and throughout the show on our Facebook page. We live stream the entire show there. It's actually the perfect place to say hello to Lauren.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm excited to be here, excited to finally join all the fun y'all have been having, and excited to connect with all of you at home. So go in the live stream. I look forward to connecting with you.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the news today. A lot of big stories coming out this afternoon. After announcing more restrictions will be eased tomorrow, Governor Roy Cooper says our state is moving closer to getting everyone vaccinated. Today, the governor announced all of Group 4 will be able to sign up to get a vaccine starting on March 31st. Instead of the original April 7th date. Instead, on April 7th, Group 5 will open up. This is ahead of President Joe Biden's goal of May 1st. As of right now, the state has administered more than 4.3 million vaccine doses. About 1/3 of the population has one dose. 1/5 of the population is fully vaccinated. These numbers are encouraging, but Governor Cooper stressed that we are not at the end of the pandemic yet.
The vaccine is our path to recovery. It is the road to normalcy. As of now, this pandemic is not over yet. We need to keep up our guard, wear our masks, and act responsibly. That will save lives and continue to spark the economy.
And as COVID-19 restrictions loosen tomorrow across our state and spring break right around the corner, one local health expert fears there could be a slight surge in cases statewide. So if we aren't careful, Dr. Christopher O. with Wake Forest Baptist Health is concerned about bubble fusions. It's a term we haven't heard before, but WFNY News 2's Jalen Gilkey talked to the infectious disease expert about what it means.
Well, the term bubble fusions is key. We all have a bubble made up of friends, family, and those we see on a daily basis. As capacity limits get ready to expand and more people can be around each other, Dr. Ohl says mixing those bubbles can be risky, and it's where large-scale transmissions can take place. Here's what he wants everyone to know as restrictions loosen.
The recommendations haven't changed. Masks and social distancing and hand hygiene, and avoiding as many bubble fusions, particularly in an unvaccinated, unmasked way.
Dr. Ohl says eased restrictions combined with spring breaks could also lead to a spike in cases.
I think, though, that we're going to start seeing our cases go up some in both the state and also in our area here. Also having more people traveling right now as schools go on spring break. And it's not necessarily everyone going down to Miami Beach to party, but people having family get-togethers and visiting friends.
Dr. Ohl thinks the next wave of cases could come next month.
So I'm thinking that we'll have a wave here in April, and I don't see it like it was in January. Maybe kind of like what we saw in the middle of last summer.
Well, although there is a chance of cases coming, we do hope and we do know that the vaccinations will decrease our numbers and keep everyone safe.
All right, thank you, Jalen. We've got an update to that concerning rise in coronavirus hospitalizations from the past couple of days. Today, that number has come down. There are now 945 North Carolinians in the hospital with the virus. It's 36 fewer than yesterday and breaks our 3-day streak of rising numbers. As we mentioned yesterday, the increases weren't major, but it had been more than 2 months since we've seen back-to-back increases in this number.
Let's take a look at the other headlines of the day with your 4 to 5 roundup. The Biden administration is committing $10 billion to help fight inequality in COVID vaccines. The money will mostly come from the American Rescue Plan passed earlier this month. Of the $10 billion, $6 will go toward community health centers to expand access to vaccines in underserved communities. The money will begin flowing to nearly 1,400 centers nationwide in April. Coronavirus vaccine maker AstraZeneca says its vaccine is still highly effective. This after health officials accuse a company of cherry-picking data in the late-stage U.S. trials. Last night, the drug maker said it recalculated data and concludes that the vaccine is 76% effective in preventing coronavirus instead of 79%. President Joe Biden held his first press conference today of his presidency. During the one-hour-long conference, he revealed he intends to seek a second term in the White House in 2024, and he expects Vice President Kamala Harris to be his running mate. He also wants to double his vaccine goal to 200 million doses in his first 100 days. He will also detail an infrastructure plan tomorrow. And the man accused of killing 10 people at a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado, made his first court appearance today. The district attorney says more charges will be announced in the next 2 weeks. The defense is asking that the suspect, Ahmad Al-Alwi Alyssa, be assessed for mental illness. He continues to be held without bond.
All right, time to talk about a forecast, and we have been kind of looking at this thunderstorm possibility as we head into the night tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning. Now, the front doesn't actually clear us, I don't believe, until tomorrow morning, but it is something that we'll watch. Temperatures, though, they're comfortable today, aren't they? Greensboro 68, 71, Burlington, High Point at 70. Lexington, you're at 79, Winston-Salem, 69. Winston-Salem also at 69 degrees, and Walnut Cove at 65. Now, when you look at the forecast and talk about tonight into tomorrow, there's that 62-degree, very mild overnight low, but the high temperature tomorrow, how about that? 80 degrees, an early storm is possible as that front clears the area. It will be a little bit breezy as well. Look at the winds, southwest 10 to 20, gusting to 25. Now that's for tomorrow. Tonight, same story basically, 10 to 20 for those winds out of the south and gusting to 25. Anytime we see that southerly flow to the winds, that brings in that warmer and mostly humid air that we're looking at. We do have some warnings popping up, but that's to the south of our viewing area, all the way down to the upstate of South Carolina, kind of the Greenville-Spartanburg area and getting close to Charlotte and Lumberton. But across the region, that is some heavy rain. It is just now starting to get into our area, and this entire system will take it a while for it to clear us. It looks like as we take this out for the next 7 days that we do have a chance of thunderstorms, don't we? It's a 30% chance for tomorrow morning, a better chance tonight, that high of 80. Then we'll go back to the mid-70s. All this way above our normal in the mid-60s. 40% chance of rain Saturday, 70% Sunday. Clearer and cooler next week. We go to the low 60s for Monday, Tuesday, mid-60s on Wednesday, but mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Welcome back. You know, we all love the outdoor events when the weather turns warmer, and since that's happening these days as we speak, I mean, the high tomorrow 80, here's one for your calendar. Make sure you write this down. I spoke with Philip Siegel about why he holds this charity event. It's a golf tournament and how it's changing as restrictions ease. Take a look. Phil, thanks for being with us today. Listen, I know this tournament is near and dear to your heart because I knew your father, but tell me why you do this.
So about 3 years ago, my father passed away of cancer, and we decided that we wanted to have a big memorial weekend and put on a golf tournament, a hockey tournament, and a nice party at Havana Phil's in his honor. He was a really amazing guy. When he walked in the room, you could feel his presence. He filled the room. And if you couldn't see him, you could most definitely hear him. He's a loud, very funny guy.
So I would think when you were in the planning stages of putting this thing together, it was going to look one way. Now restrictions are loosening a little bit, but what will the tournament look like this year?
This year, it's going to be, we're going to space it out accordingly. Everyone will be in separate golf carts. The party will be outdoors in limited capacity in order to maintain the CDC guidelines and restrictions by the North Carolina government.
Hey, let's talk about the money. Where is the money going? Because you're doing this a little bit differently. You're kind of seeking out where the money will go.
Yeah, so we're going to be spreading it throughout local charities. I know we're going to have a specific fundraiser for one of our employees, Ed Taylor. He is dealing with a health problem, and we're looking to raise a little bit of money for him as well as other local charities. And then we're also looking for a stomach cancer research department or anything like that, something that has to do with the specific stomach cancer. And if anyone listening knows anything about that, we'd love to partner up with them and get in contact with them.
This is a great thing you're doing. Your father would be proud, Phil. So good luck with this. We'll see you out on the links. All right, with this in mind, I asked you on Facebook, what large gathering event are you most looking forward to as we watch restrictions ease? Here's what you had to say. Mary McNeely said, music festivals. My husband is ready for bluegrass festivals to start up and playing with his band. Nancy says, having all my family together at one time. Missed out on birthdays, Thanksgiving, and Christmas last year. A lot of folks feel that way. Linda says, A&T Homecoming and Downtown 4th. Yes, two big events. Betty says, family reunion. Not what most would call large gathering, but it's large for me. And Brett says, I need a Springsteen concert like I need air. Way to go, Brett. Brett the Machine Anderson.
Who's also our director, just so you know. Was I not supposed to say that?
Huge, oh, I don't care. He's a huge Springsteen fan. He's seen him 14 times in concert.
That's insane. I am ready for concerts to come back, mainly Downtown Beach Music Festival in Greensboro. It's so much fun. You'll have to go out there if it happens,
Yeah,
Lauren.
that's definitely something I want to check out because concerts was on my list as well. You know, we have the virtual concerts, but it's just not the same as being in person.
It's true. I would say 80% of the people that commented on my page it was concerts, and then family reunions were second to get everybody together in one thing. Yes, very cool.
You know what I don't miss though? Porta Johns at a concert.
Absolutely.
I said it. I don't miss that. There's nowhere to wash your hands.
Nobody misses that.
You have to make the paper potty. Am I allowed to say this
No,
on
you
TV?
can say that's all good.
I don't know,
And
but I don't want it.
You definitely need a place to wash your hands these days, though.
Right.
Yes. So now, have you ever seen the Taj Mahal porta potties, the big ones that they have?
Yeah.
They're like they're air conditioned.
They are.
And they have a
Separate
full-on
stalls,
sink. Yes.
sink. Okay, so Lauren, you will learn quickly. Maybe you already know. We start a conversation off on topic, but then we take a hard right.
Or
and
left.
we go somewhere else. I think today we went to the left.
There are no rules or boundaries, so here's the line and here's the 4 to 5. That's how it
We step
works.
right up to it there. We started about large events. Now we're talking about the Taj Mahal of porta potties.
That's right.
You never know.
Okay, I'll keep that noted, and we can turn left at any point here.
Really, what we're counting on for you is to get us back to the center. That's what you have to do. It's pretty sad. All right, we're coming right back. Stay there. The 4 to 5 continues in a moment. Wow. She gets a fancy new animation.
I love it.
Look at that, the lightning round. All right, so I'm sure you've noticed that we have our newest member of the 4 to 5 team here today, Lauren Coleman. Round of applause, everyone.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, everyone.
We are so excited, but we want to get to know you better, and we want everyone at home to get to know you better as well. So Eric Chilton has come up with something, and who knows?
So we're going to call it the lightning round, and we're going to queue
Okay.
up like 60 seconds back behind us. That'll come up in our big screen in just a moment. These are quick, easy, just the quicker answers, the better. I did tell her ahead of time that it's going to be very fast answers. So
I'm ready.
when I hit this bell, we're going to start, okay? Honest answers here. Here we go.
Honest.
You can pass, too, if you feel so. Ready? Favorite color?
Green,
Steak or barbecue?
barbecue,
Ooh, flip-flops or high heels?
flip-flops, of
Nice.
course.
Duke or Carolina?
See, y'all are not going to get me caught up on my first day on the 4 to 5. I'm staying out of that. I know that's some tension here in the studio.
I'll
so
consider that
I'll
a right
pass.
answer.
She
Yes.
said Carolina, I heard it.
Yeah. Beach or mountains?
Beach,
Favorite sport to play?
track and field,
Ooh.
long jump, triple jump,
Whoa, wow.
Nice.
Favorite sport to watch?
track and field.
Maddie or Eric? Just kidding. Just kidding.
You're trying to catch me up on this show
trying
today.
to. That's really horrible. Fries or tots?
Fries,
Old school or current?
old school,
Okay. Dancing or singing?
singing,
Hot yoga or hot chocolate?
hot chocolate,
Winter or summer?
winter,
Barbecue sauces, mustard based or vinegar based?
mustard base,
Okay. Early riser or night owl?
night owl,
Dogs or cats?
dogs,
Ooh, phone call or text?
phone call,
Cardio or weights?
weights.
She got it.
That's it.
We're
Lightning
good.
round is over.
I know so much now.
But we didn't get to the one I wanted to ask you, which
Okay.
was Apple or Android.
Apple.
I knew it.
iPhone. Team
I'm
iPhone all
outnumbered.
day.
You are an Android person.
Yeah, I
know I
don't.
had
I
to
don't
answer.
It
do
is
that.
just you.
You need to join the team.
Here's
Team
the
iPhone.
rest of them. Do you see anything that you want to?
Here, you can have the rest.
I made a bunch of them. I just thought didn't know how long we
Cake
would go.
or pie? I definitely like pie, but I like
Okay.
cake too.
Yeah, I
I love
like
sweets.
both.
So
You
I'll
could say
take
both.
I think
I'll
both
take both on
works.
that one. Can I take back an answer?
Yes.
Tater tots. I like that better than fries.
I'm with you actually on that. Most
Yeah.
people don't like that.
Fried
idea with
extra
me.
crispy.
Nice.
Look at that.
Very good.
Long jump and triple jump.
Yeah, long jump and triple
So was
jump.
that what you hear? I'll take that. Is that what? Did you do that? Was
Yeah,
that your thing? And
that was my thing in high school. I did it year-round. AAU triple jump was my main
Wow.
one too. Runs in the family too. My dad was a triple jumper.
That's really
All-American,
impressive.
So
see, now we
love
learned the
track
real
and field.
stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, but you quickly said singing.
Singing, yeah, I can sing a little bit, carry a little tune.
There we go.
You want me to
sing
sing
in my
something?
band? Yeah, if you
Yeah.
want.
You want me to sing right now?
If you want,
Okay.
it's up to you.
Let's hold off on that. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that on the Facebook Live.
I like the look down, look up.
Yeah, for a
We're
moment.
ready for it.
You know, I want to make a
Preparing
good impression
ourselves.
on my first day. I don't want to scare anybody with my voice, but I can sing a little
All right,
bit.
well, you need to come to my band then. We're going to get you
Okay.
in. All right, let's talk about our forecast and see what's going on. You heard it. Write it down. She said it. She might be a chill tone here. Okay, so let's talk about what we will see in the short term. You're looking at, this is kind of official, isn't it? Maddie, do you like my weather desk now?
I love it.
Yeah, 62.
Ring the bell.
The overnight low tonight. The high tomorrow at 80. We have a chance of thunderstorms. Matter of fact, that actually will be moving in the short term. I mean, when you look at the radar now, and by the way, the red box is near Charlotte. That's actually the Shelby area, if you're familiar with that neck of the woods, out of our viewing area. But still, you see how it's all moving to the east. That is a tornado warning for that area. We'll keep you posted. Do we expect to see that? No, but we want you to watch. Keep that app handy just in case. I think, could we see a severe thunderstorm warning here or there? That is a possibility as this entire complex kind of leaves us. Winds coming in out of the south, so that keeps us warm. You're looking at overnight lows in the low 60s, highs tomorrow approaching 80. Our normal high is 64 degrees. So here we are 16 degrees above normal to kick off that weekend. The timing of the front is important. You notice how we stopped it here. This is about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Again, chance of an early thunderstorm, although our biggest threat may be more likely into the night tonight. And then once that clears, it's smooth sailing. High pressure moves in. You're going to watch temperatures fluctuate a good bit. I mean, we'll be in the 70s, we think, for your weekend, dropping back down into the 60s as we head into the early part of next week. Here's that 7-day forecast with 80 tomorrow. Very warm for us. That chance of a morning storm. Look for those temperatures to go to the mid 70s, we think, Saturday, Sunday. Now, rain chances, it's a 40% Saturday, and that's probably a pop-up PM shower there. Then a 70% chance of showers on Sunday. That might be the rainiest day. Next week, though, clearing out. Sunny to partly cloudy Monday, Tuesday. Low 60s, upper 60s Wednesday, low 60s Thursday. Again, 20 to 30% chance of a shower Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. A change is coming to the Winston-Salem-Forsyth County school year calendar. Next year, students will get the entire week of Thanksgiving off instead of the usual 3 days off. Teachers will still have to work on the Monday and Tuesday before the holiday, but they'll be counted as teacher work days. This gives students and families an entire week off school. So asking on Facebook, what do you think about this? Should more districts take this up and offer an entire week off? Christina Cromwell said, yes, I think the past year showed us that slowing down has so many upsides, and we all pack way too much into life. A week off for all would be wonderful. Terry Lipford said, why, yes, they should. And Gio Webster said, sure, why not? We've only been shut down for a year. What's a little more time off going to matter? I think that school districts should do this, but mainly workplaces, because I'm not in school anymore and I don't have kids in school, but I want the week off. Is that selfish?
That's okay.
Okay.
At least you're honest about it.
I support you, Maddie.
Thank you.
I'm with you as well. I love vacation. The more days off, the better.
So we need to start a petition.
But I do think that since Thanksgiving, you know, it's always on a Thursday, it would be nice to have at least a day off before the actual holiday instead of just like the day of and everything. You know, plus you're planning all those, everybody's trying to get together, hopefully this year more so than last year, and you got to have time to plan that trip.
Yeah, travel is a big deal as well too, because you know, if you get 3 days, it's like most of your time is on the road or on a plane. So with a whole week, you can spend more time with family. And if we think about safety as well, it gives you time to quarantine if you have the whole week off.
That's a good
think about it that way.
Yeah, and then we saw a lot of school systems this year. Once we had winter break, those who were back in school just did a week of remote learning after for that quarantine reason, just to make sure everyone was safe. So I am for this. I hope that we can see it implemented in the workplace, as I said before. I want more time off.
Good luck to you on that one, Maddie.
Now I just remember my bosses are watching, and I didn't say that.
You know, we have a hard time getting Christmas and Thanksgiving off anyway. So I don't know if we're going to be able to go from getting 1 day, trying to fight for 1 day off, to getting the whole week off. So we're going to have to see about that one, Maddie. But I'm behind you 100%.
Raining on my parade.
Look, I'm just bringing some realism to this conversation that we're having.
We're in Maddie world right now, Jalen.
Here we go.
It's a happy place.
Here we go again.
Jalen. Get used to it.
Everyone
it's a party
smile,
of
pretend
one.
you like it.
It's a party of one.
It's the best party, though.
I'm letting you toss the break since you're out there, Maddie, and I'm trapped in here.
All right, both in Maddie world and the real world, we are going to break. But we are live on our Facebook page. We are chatting with you there. Hi, is it me? Is it me?
Check, check.
No, it's not me.
Check, check, check.
Hello. You can see it in your smile. All right, we got to check. All right, here we go. Check, mic check, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, hello. Checking, checking.
Now it's my turn. Hey, Facebook. Hey, Gloria and Wanda and Brenda and Joanne and Vicky. Hi, hi, hi. Walter, everyone on there.
It's only one?
No, that's where you're ending. You're going to start on aux 7, me and aux 7. You're going to start me and aux 7. You'll go in so that you can read the thing. You'll come out to see me and the two things, and then you'll go all the way out that way. Yeah, so we may need to move like that one back.
Boardwalks, pier, all that. California has boardwalks, piers, beaches, Ferris wheels, roller coasters.
What's the beach that's famous in LA?
Manhattan Beach. Not Manhattan, Redondo Beach.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5, a very special show today. We are very excited because Lauren Coleman is here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, our newest member of the team. Very excited. You doing okay? You're comfortable?
Okay. I'm comfortable. I'm learning a lot. I'm just excited to finally be a part of all the fun you guys have been having.
We've been waiting. She's been shadowing and kind of sitting offset just a little bit for the past, has it been 2 weeks?
It's
1 week?
almost 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks.
And we have slipped up a couple of times, but now we are excited to formally introduce Lauren Coleman. And people are saying hey to you on the Facebook page. They are happy you're here, and we are too.
Okay, I look forward to connecting with you as well, so I need to get on that stream.
Yes.
In just a little bit, we're going to put her in the hot seat. We're talking about North Carolina trivia. See where, you know, she was born in North Carolina, correct?
Fort Bragg.
Yes.
Nice.
So we'll
Good
see.
luck, Lauren.
I'm gonna need it. Trivia is not really my thing.
Well, Jalen is also just really bad at all of that. He knows nothing about North Carolina.
Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. I'm glad we specified. That's what I was about to say. Don't do
Lived here
that.
for 5, 6 years.
Going on 7.
And hasn't been anywhere,
Hasn't
by
been
the way.
anywhere.
Exactly.
Has
Yes.
been nowhere.
I'll bet Lauren's
sorry.
already been more places than
That's kind of sad.
maybe true.
I was a broke college student. I'm sorry. Like I was just having a good time here with my friends.
We'll get you out, Jalen. We'll get you out.
I was
Thank
just
you.
having a good time with my friends. Jalen, we're happy
It's a quote of the day.
that you're spending time with us today. We have some big stories to get to today, and the biggest is the announcement from Governor Roy Cooper, who says that all North Carolinians who want a vaccine can get one starting on April 7th. This is earlier than originally predicted. So all of Group 4 will open on March 31st, and then Group 5 will open on April 7th. Cooper says they were able to move up eligibility because of more vaccine supply coming into the state. As of right now, the state has administered more than 4.3 million vaccine doses. About 1/3 of the population has 1 dose, and 1/5 of the population is fully vaccinated. We have all the details and more from the governor's announcement. Just head over to WFNYnews2.com to learn more. We also have information on where you can sign up to get a vaccine appointment in your county.
Guilford County Schools and Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools will both hold board meetings to talk about reentry tonight. During their work session, Guilford County School Board plans to talk about potential schools and recommendations before students come back. Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board plans to talk about phasing in more students. So we'll have a bigger preview for you ahead at 5 on those meetings.
We know that COVID-19 vaccines are not 100% effective, and despite those high efficacy numbers we do see, it's expected that some vaccinated people will still get sick. But has that happened here in North Carolina? Take a look at what our Verified team found out.
The situation we're describing is called a breakthrough case. It's when somebody gets sick despite being vaccinated against an illness. So our question is, have there been any reports of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated? Our sources are the CDC and infectious disease doctor David Priest.
The expectation can't be with any vaccine that there's not a single case that arises.
And we do see that in the numbers. While more formal research is underway to track breakthrough cases, the CDC does have a database where clinicians can report them, and we checked it. Right now, there are 25 reports of people in North Carolina who got a COVID shot and later got the virus. But after looking at each report in detail, we found only 3 who were considered fully vaccinated when they tested positive. So why might these 3 cases have happened?
There's a unique interaction between the vaccine and the individual's immune system and how well they respond to it, how well do they make antibodies, how well do their T cells respond.
Priest says even with breakthrough cases, the vaccine could still be working by making symptoms milder and, more importantly, cutting down on chances of hospitalization and death. By the way, the 3 cases we found were 79 years or older, and 2 of them had underlying conditions. While all 3 did go to the hospital, the reports say none of them died. So we can verify, yes, there have been cases of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated, but these are very rare instances. In fact, we found 3 cases out of more than 1.5 million completed vaccine series in North Carolina.
Well, while the pandemic continues, there is a bit of good news here. Flu numbers have been much more mild this year. That's leading some experts to think masks may become popular in the future. In some countries like Japan, masks are part of the daily culture, especially during flu and allergy season. There are studies that suggest in certain situations, masks could help slow the spread of the yearly flu. So, what do you guys think? Should we wear masks even during a regular flu season? That's a good question.
I mean, the numbers have been down. Our flu numbers were way down because of the COVID and everybody wearing masks. So I don't know. I think people are so polarized on this issue.
Yeah.
Some people will refuse after a mask mandate is gone. I think they're going to refuse forever. But, if it slows it down and you want to do that, great.
I think masks are the last thing that will go away from this pandemic. And we've heard experts say this too. Even people who are fully vaccinated are still being asked to wear masks in public. So I think that they might even stick around through next flu season. But it has been a positive note for this pandemic that we have seen less flu cases. I like that.
Yeah, and even on a positive note, personal note, I usually get one big cold a year, or I get really sick once a year. And since the start of this pandemic, knock on wood, I haven't gotten sick yet, and it might be because of the mask.
Well, that's great to hear. And Lauren, I'm gonna be honest, I was actually thinking about this yesterday, and I was just thinking about maybe going to a concert or doing other things in where there's large groups of people coming together. I think it probably will still be required that we wear a mask, and I'm kind of open to it. We've seen other countries kind of lean towards wearing masks or in larger groups or during flu season, like was mentioned during the story. And I think those are great ideas. I'm definitely open to it, and I feel like cutting back on the chance of getting the flu is always a good thing, right?
It's always good. I feel like people are so used to it now that it will feel strange, I think, to some of us to not have a mask on, especially if you're in big groups. So little by little, we'll get back to normal.
Plus, now we have so many that match all of our outfits, right? So we have to keep those. Is that just me?
No, I agree. I was actually going to say that. I have one in like every color. So
see.
I'll definitely have a couple flavors that I can throw on.
A couple of flavors.
Yeah, depending on what I got for the day,
He made me laugh.
Got to stay fly.
All the time. All right, let's turn back to the news. It's your 4 to 5 roundup. Starting tomorrow, North Carolinians will be able to gather in larger groups, and many businesses will be able to operate at a greater capacity. A new executive order from Governor Cooper will roll back some COVID restrictions starting at 5 p.m. Friday. Some businesses can open at 100% capacity. Others can operate at 75% indoors and 100% outdoors. You can see a full breakdown on our website. 12 state attorneys general are urging social media platforms to stop coronavirus vaccine misinformation. A recent report found more than 59 million followers on an anti-vaccine social media account. The AGs say if big tech companies don't act now, the pandemic will be longer. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter say they are constantly enforcing measures to combat anti-vaccine information. The number of Americans applying for jobless claims fell to its lowest level since the start of the pandemic. Workers filing for unemployment benefits dropped to 684,000 last week. That's 97,000 less than the week before. Economists predict fewer people will file for benefits in the coming weeks as more people are vaccinated and businesses start to reopen. And former Pennsylvania Health Secretary Rachel Levine makes history as the nation's first openly transgender federal official confirmed by the Senate. On Wednesday, the U.S. Senate confirmed Levine as the nation's Assistant Secretary of Health. Voting mostly on party lines, the final vote was 52-48.
Well, you look at high temperatures for tomorrow and you think like, wait a minute, it feels like it's like midsummer for us. 80 degrees for the high tomorrow. Temperatures right now, comfortable, 69 in the Triad, Raleigh at 75, Charlotte 74. We've got Greenville at 61. You can tell where the rain is and where it hasn't been yet. Look how rain-cooled Asheville at 57, Boone 55. We're almost at 70, and then you go all the way up close to 80 for Fayetteville. Winds will be out of the south to southwest, it looks like, as we head throughout the afternoon and evening. And really, we have to watch more so for the thunderstorm activity more than anything else. I'm going to step out of the way because it's not responding over here. Let's see if we can get that weather computer. There we go. All right, hour by hour heading into the evening, upper 60s for the most part. That'll be at 9 p.m. You see that 67 degree reading. Notice temperatures really don't change a whole lot, and that's because of the showers and cloud cover out there. Still watching two areas. You see the red boxes down there west of Columbia, South Carolina, and west of Charlotte. Those are tornado warnings, but we do not expect that here. Could it happen? Yes. Will it happen? Probably not. So we'll keep you posted on that. But showers, thunderstorms, they will be scattered as they work their way close across our region. Here's what it looks like on the surface chart. Cold front kind of falling apart a little bit as it moves across our area. Tomorrow morning, still a chance of a morning thunderstorm, then clearing out for the most part until a second system moves by. So the weekend, it's a little bit of a mixed bag here. We've got that 30% chance of a morning shower or storm tomorrow, a warm 80 degree high. It looks really nice by Friday afternoon. Saturday, Sunday, 40 and 70% chance of of rain on those 2 days with highs in the mid 70s. Monday's beautiful, although it's cooler, but still 62. Our normal high is 64, so we're warm for a while. Low 60s Tuesday, slight rain chance Wednesday, Thursday. Highs go up to 68 for Wednesday and back down to 63 by Thursday of next week.
All right, I got this text the other day. It reads, "Congratulations, Tanya. You came in first in today's Amazon iPad raffle." Well, that's not the only one I got. I got this one too. It says, "Congratulations again. You came in second in today's Amazon Pods raffle." Hey, Lauren, I know it's your first day, but let me ask you, do you think I'm a lucky girl?
Nah, I don't think you're a lucky girl. I think you're going to win a whole lot of trouble if you actually click that link. Don't do it.
She is so right, and I want to make sure that you know that for sure as well. So take a look at this. Check out this page on Amazon. One person after another is talking about the text that they got telling them that they were a winner and that they just need to click the link. The Better Business Bureau has gotten so many complaints about various Amazon scam texts. They put out an article about it. According to Amazon, any customer who receives a questionable email, text, or call from a person impersonating Amazon should go to Amazon customer service.
They go to where we are and then use it. Scammers are always looking for an opportunity, and they know that we know that name, Amazon.
All right, so this is pretty cool. Amazon offers a page for you to look at to identify whether an email, phone call, text, or web page is really from Amazon. If you have a question about a message that you've received, do not call the number, do not click the link. First, go to the source. All right, with scams on the mind, we have a BBB expert coming in at 5:30. You can text the expert your questions about better business practices, how to hire and pay a contractor, how to spot a scam, and more. The number is 336-379-5775.
Well, it is time to put our newest member of the 4 to 5, Lauren Coleman, back in the hot seat. We'll call it the warm seat. We won't make it too hard.
That's
on
right.
you.
That's right. We'll
It's
turn
lukewarm.
That's exactly right. This is the harder of the two, right?
Yes.
Because you and I have talked. We talked
Okay.
during the day. I said the North Carolina trivia one is not easy. So you ready?
I'm ready, but
That's
I
the
just want to
trivia bell.
say, judgment-free zone.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
am not
For
the
sure.
best at trivia. You do not want me on your trivia team on trivia night.
And
Just
some of
putting it
these
out
they're
there.
not gimmies, not all.
Okay.
All right. So here's the first one. We have let's start official. We have a World War II battleship called the USS North Carolina. Where is that docked?
Okay, I've heard you talk about this. Wilmington.
Yeah.
Nice. Ding the bell. Ding
Nice,
the bell.
nice.
What city is the North Carolina state capital?
Raleigh.
No, that's an easy one.
Good.
Okay. All right. Which ACC team is based in Winston-Salem? Not a gimme.
This one's kind of hard.
It is hard. It's
Their
a private
mascot
school.
is the Demon Deacons.
Gold and black are the colors.
Let's pass on
Okay,
that one.
pass on that. I'll give up.
All right. What triad town has the big chair?
Okay,
She won't get this one.
I've been trying to read up for this quiz.
This one's
I was like,
actually
I don't want to
tricky.
look crazy. Thomasville?
Yes.
Okay.
See, I would expect most people to say High Point because
Yes.
it's the furniture city, but
Yeah.
it's Thomasville. You're right.
Very good. Close by. Where are we? Okay, so Winston-Salem was built by money raised from a particular crop that North Carolina is famous for. What
This
is
is
that
hard.
crop? This is a hard one.
Is it sweet potatoes?
No, but that is a big crop
Okay.
for us now.
Yes.
Okay. Tobacco?
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
nice.
good. All right,
Okay,
very good.
Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and High Point is called the Triad.
Mm-hmm.
What about Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill? Raleigh, Durham,
Is it
Chapel
the
Hill.
Research Triangle?
I'll count
Pretty
that.
close.
I'll
It's the
count that.
triangle. Yeah,
Okay.
I
So
like
Research
it.
Triangle Park is a place
Okay,
of
okay.
business there, but it's called the Triangle.
Triangle,
Yes, very
okay.
good. What North Carolina city out west is known as the new beer capital of America?
You were
It's the
talking
biggest
about a
city.
house that was located there.
Asheville?
Asheville, yes, yes.
The
What-
Biltmore is there.
That's
I want
right.
to check that out this summer. It's
beautiful.
Okay.
You should. What Lexington, North Carolina festival brings in around 200,000 visitors?
Is this a gimme one?
No,
Or
not
Okay,
really.
okay.
I don't think so for someone that's not from here.
Bluegrass Festival? I don't know.
No. Starts with a B. Barbecue.
Barbecue
Barbecue
Festival.
Festival.
Okay.
The sit-in movement happened at what drugstore chain in Greensboro in 1960?
Woolworths.
Woolworths
Nice.
is correct, yes.
Yeah, now the International Civil Rights Center and Museum. If you want to check it out downtown.
Checked it out last weekend.
Oh, it's
Look at
great.
you.
It's a great experience.
Already checking off the bucket list. Okay, our license plates say first in flight. What brothers completed the first powered flight of an
She knows
aircraft at Kitty Hawk in 1903?
I know this one, the Wright brothers.
Yes,
right.
very good.
And we we argue with Ohio about that, right?
Yes.
Because they were from there?
They were from there, so they formulated their
Oh,
ideas
okay.
there, but the
They
actual
flew
flight,
here.
yes. And it's funny the way they describe it. They say the first powered flight of a vehicle lighter than air, heavier than air. That's what they say, yes. Okay, so Mount Airy, North Carolina, hometown to me and Maddie, is sometimes referred to as Mayberry, the fictitious town of a famous 1960 show centered around a small town North Carolina sheriff played by this actor who is also from Mount Airy.
I was gonna try to whistle it, but
She knows it.
Can't whistle.
I can't. Okay, it's not coming out. Andy Griffith.
That's right.
Very good, very
All right,
good.
do we do the last one?
You want to try the impossible
have
one real
time?
quick?
Okay, let's see. I feel
Okay,
lucky.
name the 4 ACC schools that at one time were known as the Big Four.
Is this a gimme?
No, this is not a gimme.
This is
I don't
a really
think.
hard one.
This is the 4 major big universities in the state.
Okay. UNC Chapel Hill.
That's one.
That's important.
Yeah.
Is Duke one?
Yes.
Okay.
You got 2 more.
Wake Forest.
Yes.
Gosh, yes.
Wow.
Lauren.
UNC Greensboro.
No.
I like that one.
We'll take that.
Okay.
Yeah.
NC State,
State.
is the last
okay.
one. Nicely
Yay!
done.
That
Maybe
was
you will have me on
awesome.
your team then.
How did you do? Let us know on Facebook.
It's
Did
very
you
good.
pass? Did
Yes.
you get a good score?
That's
All right.
actually very good.
Okay.
for
I'm
somebody.
impressed.
Yes, that's very good. All right, we have
was
more
nervous
coming
about
up in
that
just a
one.
minute. Stick
And we're
around.
talking with you on the Facebook page in the break, so join us there. Okay, mics are coming up.
Hello,
Here they are.
Facebook.
Hi, everybody. Gloria, I hope you're watching still because here we are. Hold on, our producer's talking to us. Okay,
Okay.
so that's when you stand. Yeah. All
Okay.
right. Hey, Facebook. Welcome, Lauren Coleman.
Yes.
Hi, Facebook.
You're almost done. You have 10 more minutes of the show. You're also anchoring the 5.
Also anchoring the 5, so make sure you tune in for that as well. But made it through my first 4 to 5. That was,
I mean, flawlessly.
Yes,
Oh,
very nice. Very
appreciate it.
nice. Everybody was asking, were they asking anything, Maddie? I don't know if anybody was throwing out some
People are
questions.
saying hello and welcome, and they're impressed with your trivia capabilities.
oh,
Lauren,
thank you.
tell them where you've lived, because
Okay, well, I've lived a lot of places. My dad is a retired Army colonel.
Nice.
I was born in Fort Bragg, so I lived there for about 2 years. So I moved when I was 2. I've lived in Virginia several times, Kansas, Texas. I lived in Germany for 3 years, Heidelberg and Butzbach, Germany, which is near
Wow.
Friedberg.
gosh.
I did 4th, 5th, and 6th grade there. I lived in Kansas.
My gosh.
South Carolina, I did not live, but that's where my parents are both from, so I've spent a lot of time there. I came from Memphis, Tennessee before coming here, was there for 4.5 years, and I also lived in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Oh,
I lived-
everywhere.
Been
Lived in New
everywhere.
York for a little bit, so I've just been traveling around. Love
That's
to
awesome.
travel.
Where
So
are your parents located now? Your
they
family?
are in Northern Virginia, Woodbridge, right outside of DC.
I know where that is,
My
yeah.
dad was at the
Nice.
Pentagon for several years, and so they retired up there and decided to buy a house. And that's pretty much what I call home since I got
Yes.
to graduate
Gotcha.
high school up there.
So that's
Well,
not that far of a drive for them to
Kimberly-
come down and visit.
bad at all.
Kimberly and Debbie say hello, and then I think it was Brenda who wanted to know Wanda wanted to know if you were going to sing for us anytime soon.
Okay.
No pressure. You don't have to.
Maybe Mary had a little lamb.
Okay.
But soulful.
Bring the beat in.
Yeah.
Mary had a little lamb.
Yes.
Little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow.
No, that's really impressive. That is really impressive. Okay, 30 seconds out. Lauren, welcome. We're
Yes,
so happy
we're
you're
so
here.
glad you're here.
Stick around, Facebook.
Bye,
Bye, Facebook.
Bye.
It's not me. Oh, there's my mic. I'll take it. All right, pet owners would probably love a Bring Your Pet to Work day, but what about every day? A new survey from Banfield Pet Hospital finds 6 in 10 companies plan to offer pet flexible options once the pandemic ends. 3 in 10 employees say they've adopted a new dog or cat during the pandemic. More than half said they'd be happy to return to the office if, and only if, their pets could come too. That would be fun.
You know, I worked from home the past 3 days, and my cat Stewie was a regular guest here on the 4 to 5. So I think that he is ready for me to get out of the apartment and back to work full time.
He
does
loves
not.
FaceTime though.
He knows. He hides all day. He sleeps all day, but when the lights go on and the camera light comes on, he's ready for
That's
action.
just like Jalen.
Big city
takes
bright
after-
lights, baby.
He takes
Big city
after
bright lights.
Jalen.
Stew's all about, his FaceTime, make sure he can handle, he gets his opportunity to let his superstar show. And you try to block his shine sometimes, but you can't block the sun, right?
Can't do that.
Interesting. Lauren, any pets?
I don't have a pet. It is on my vision board to get a dog, but if people brought their pets to work, I can enjoy their pets without having the responsibility. So that would be a cool idea.
You know, Julie Luck has a very cute dog that I would love to see here at the station. And Stacey
Lambert.
Spivey also has a wonderful dog, Wrigley, who I would love to be in the newsroom.
So cute, so cute.
Yeah,
Maybe
cute
we
News
should
2
feature
pets.
all the News 2 pets in
Ed
one
Matthews
segment.
has
We'll
Rio.
do it.
Megan Maleris has Mila. Look, I can name all the pets. Very attached to the News 2 pets here.
We're going to a break on Pet Land. We'll see you in a bit. That can stay. This is fine.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi, I have both mic 2 and mic 4, but I'm going to use mic 2.
Hi there, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois.
So if there's one thing I can promise you, it is that this will not be the last My 2 cents on this topic. In fact, by the time August rolls around, you may be sick of me talking about this, but I have to because it is front and center in my life right now. And I'm talking about my oldest two, my twins, that a lot of you remember when they were babies when I first started at Channel 2, are going to college in August in two totally different directions, in two different states, as a matter of fact. And it just hit me the other day. There's housing and planning with where are you going to stay and can you take your car? How much does it cost? Where do we put the deposits? Let's plan visits, and all of that started piling up in my head. And then I stopped and just let it all go away for a moment and said, you know what's really important? All that will happen. What's really important is time. Time you spend with your kids. For those of you that have younger kids and haven't gotten there yet, I have younger kids too, but these two are the first two that will be flying the coop. I will tell you that you get caught up in details and minutia and all this mess through high school and then getting ready for college. What's really important is that you spend every second you can with them, both individually alone and them together with just me, with just my wife, with all of us. That time is more important than anything. And I realize now that it's a precious commodity that I don't have a lot of left. With them living here permanently. Of course they'll be home for summers and breaks and stuff, but we all know how that works. When you start branching out into college, little by little you come home less and less as your life moves forward, and that's what's supposed to happen. Doesn't make it any easier for us parents, but I will tell you right now, stop what you're doing, take a moment to think about the time that you need to spend with your kids, and then triple it and do it. It's the greatest gift you'll ever give them, and it's the greatest gift you'll ever get back. But that's just my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
First, it was Group 1, just healthcare workers. Then, over the past few months, more and more people joined the list to get a COVID-19 vaccine.
Yeah, but in a little over 2 weeks, the groups will be gone. Starting April 7th, all adults in North Carolina can get a vaccine.
We've been faster and have gotten more supply than we had anticipated, and that's fantastic. Our Department of Health and Human Services and our vaccine team here, along with providers across the state, deserve a lot of thanks.
Now, this is just one of the changes Governor Cooper talked about this afternoon. The governor announced all of Group 4 will be able to sign up to get a vaccine starting on March 31st instead of the original April 7th date. Instead, Group 5 will open up on April 7th ahead of President Joe Biden's goal of May 1st.
And as of right now, the state has administered over 4.3 million vaccine doses. About 1/3 of the population has one dose and 1/5 of the population is fully vaccinated. Now, the numbers are encouraging, but Governor Cooper stressed that we are not at the end of the pandemic yet.
A reminder that loosened restrictions go into effect tomorrow night. Starting tomorrow at 5, retail businesses and hair and nail salons can fully reopen. Restaurants, breweries, and gyms can open at 75% capacity, and bars and movie theaters can open at 50% capacity. We've got a complete breakdown of all the changes on our website.
Well, rain and storms, they are moving across the triad, and there's a good chance many of us will be seeing some lightning.
Tim, I know this might seem like deja vu for some people from last week, but you're saying it's not as serious.
It's a lower risk, guys, but we still should be what I call weather aware. Just mean don't just forget about the weather the next couple hours. Keep checking back. Have the News 2 app ready to go because we may have a couple of warnings to pass along to you at times. Right now, the clouds are still pretty thick across the region, but we have warmed up. Maybe you've noticed we're right around 70 degrees in many areas. It's much cooler out in the western foothills. I truly do not think you have a very big risk of severe weather out there. However, let's look at the radar. You can start to see some rain, solid rain, pushing into those foothill communities. Winston-Salem, you're right on the edge of this right now. This is moving your way, so steadier rain is pushing in to Forsyth County. This is the concern. A couple of hours ago, or I should say just within the last hour or so, this storm had a tornado warning on it. It's back here in upstate South Carolina where that happened, but it's still pushing closer to the Charlotte area, and then eventually it would be moving closer to Rowan County, Davidson County, and Randolph. If it spins up and gets a little stronger, we might have to pass that along to you, so just stay weather aware. Keep on checking back. This is part of a bigger system across the Deep South where a very large severe weather risk is across Alabama and Mississippi. We're on the weaker side of that system, but there still could be some storms tonight, so pay attention. Looks pretty rough on radar around 8 to 9 o'clock this evening. Then we get a bit of a break. Around midnight, we could have another round of action and then a little bit lesser action after that. The main front won't go through our area until 6, 7, 8, and 9 o'clock in the morning. That is when we can sound that all clear, and tomorrow actually looks like a beautiful day of weather after that 9 o'clock time frame. So stay weather aware this evening. We'll have you covered. Don't worry about that. We'll be here for you. Then by tomorrow, you can rest easy. Everything's going to be great with a high right around 80 for the first time of the year. Coming up, we'll talk more about the storms and also look at your weekend forecast.
I've got a positive update to our coronavirus hospitalizations. You'll remember yesterday I was watching an upward trend. Well, today that number has come down. It's now at 945 North Carolinians in the hospital with the virus. It's 36 fewer than yesterday and breaks our 3-day streak of rising numbers. As I mentioned yesterday, the increases weren't major, but it had been more than 2 months since we'd seen 3 back-to-back increases in this number.
We've heard time and time again, even with the vaccine and lower COVID numbers, we cannot let our guard down. And as the weather gets warmer, you need to be careful. Wake Forest Baptist Health Infectious Disease Specialist Dr. Christopher Ohl explains why.
If you're thinking about having a large outdoor gathering with that number of people, there'll be unvaccinated people in that venue, I'm sure. So you'll want to be wearing masks and spreading out and thinking about how you serve food and how the eating is done, because when you eat, you take your mask off.
Major decisions are being made tonight at 2 of our largest triad school districts. Guilford County Schools and Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools both have meetings tonight to talk about next steps. Will either district move to plan for middle and high school now that even the state health department recommends it? WFNY News 2's Jess Winters is digging deeper.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services updated its toolkit, aka its schools reopening recommendations. Some major changes here, including the 6 feet of social distancing now down to 3 feet. That's for elementary and middle school students. Adults are still advised to stay 6 feet from other adults and children. The biggest change to the State Health Department's Strong Schools NC Public Health Toolkit is the recommendation for all grade levels to operate under Plan A. That means a full return. Temperature checks and other symptom screenings are no longer required, but are recommended. The State Board of Education talked about this new guidance at a late Thursday afternoon meeting.
This reopening plans have been a moving target with changing science and additional changes, as the chair said, to the CDC guidance and subsequent changes, therefore, to the state DHHS toolkit.
Despite the shift, Guilford County Schools Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras says school schedules are likely to stay as is for the rest of the year.
Trying to change transportation plans, it takes us about 2 months to establish routing for all of our students. So there are only, a few months left in the school year.
The Guilford County and Winston-Salem Forsyth County Boards of Education have meetings tonight to discuss what in-person learning will look like for the remainder of the year. We'll know more in the next couple of hours.
Jess, thank you. 2 people in Davidson County are facing serious accusations of child abuse tonight. Detectives say they handcuffed a 15-year-old boy to furniture at night and used a canine shock collar to discipline him. We're not releasing their names to prevent identifying the victim in this case. Both have been released on bond. A Winston-Salem mother is now charged in relation to the death of her 1-year-old baby. Police say the baby died last year in a hotel room. Earlier this month, a medical examiner determined the baby died from fentanyl and ruled the death a homicide. Police charged Amber Martin with involuntary manslaughter. The child's father, Eric Lash, died from an apparent drug overdose earlier this year.
Well, another catalytic converter stolen in the Triad. This time it happened at Bishop McGinnis High School in Kernersville. Police say they are looking for the owners of this car, so take a good look there, saying this is connected to the case. So if you know anything, call the Crime Prevention Unit at this number, 336-996-2294. So why are thieves targeting catalytic converters? Well, experts say they're valuable, easy to steal with simple tools, and hard to trace as they don't have any markings.
This is what they're after. And the reason they're after this is because there's precious metals in these converters that help filter out the emissions.
The best way to protect your car is to park in a garage or a well-lit area.
Well, did you see these Black Hawk helicopters flying around Winston-Salem this morning? Wake Forest University and Winston-Salem State's ROTC programs were part of a training exercise which happens once a semester. Another type of training known as Robin Sage is back. Starting tomorrow, the U.S. Army will hold training exercises in 24 counties. Hundreds of Special Forces students and support personnel will be a part of this in Randolph, Alamance, Davidson, and Guilford counties, among others. The Randolph County Sheriff says you might see military vehicles and hear gunfire. The training runs through April 9th.
And the NCAA Men's Swimming and Diving Championships are going on right now at the Greensboro Aquatic Center. Greensboro Coliseum officials say as far as crowds go, fans, they're not allowed. The NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships happened last week.
You have got to hear the astronomical number the IRS is paying out in stimulus checks right now. It's in the hundreds of billions. When you might get yours if you're still waiting. Next.
Hello. Okay, so this is going to start on Movi, and then it's going to come out, and then it's going to be a big ham one on camera 2. The amount of money being paid out for stimulus number 3, it is mind-boggling. Take a look at these big numbers, $325 billion. Yes, that is with a B, yes. And that was split between 127 million tax-paying Americans. All right, let me give you a closer look at how that breaks down in the 2 batches of payments that are made. So on this side here, you have batch number 1. And then on this side here, you have batch number 2. So let's take a look at what happened between those two. 90 million total payments versus 37 million payments. But how the payments were made, yes, that is the big difference. You see it here, direct deposit, 89.8 million, 150,000 mail checks. Then you take a look at that second batch that just came out. Look at that, direct deposit only 17 million, but the mail checks, we're talking about 15 million of them. And then another 5 million debit cards, which means if you didn't get a stimulus payment in your bank account, I got to tell you, you're one of those, it could be coming to your mailbox.
You're talking about 20 million pieces of mail going out to U.S. citizens as of yesterday. So it's going to take about, I would think, a week or so to get those. So don't be dismayed. Once that payment has gone out, then your status will be updated.
According to the IRS, the checks and debit cards from this second batch began processing March 19th and will be sent by mail over the next few weeks, which means billions of dollars are headed to mailboxes. You can know which day to be waiting at your mailbox for the cash. How do you do that? You do it by signing up for informed delivery with the Postal Service. This free service takes pictures of the letters as they go through the automated sorting machines. Those pictures are then sent to your phone or your computer for you to see. With this free service, you'll know the day that your stimulus check will be delivered. Now, how to sign up for that informed delivery, how to check your stimulus payment status, it's in the 2 Wants to Know section.
So I'm going to be with you a lot today, just kind of checking up, watching the radar, seeing how things are adjusting because rain and storms are starting to push back into our area, and they have a history of being a little bit spinny back to the west. Let me show you what I mean. Right now, rain is starting to push in. It's just started to rain on me here in Greensboro. Winston-Salem seeing some showers. Nothing severe with this batch of action in our western counties right now, or really in any of the Triad. We're just seeing some gentle rain at the moment, but it's gotten pretty muggy. You see our dew points are in the low 60s. That can allow for thunderstorms sometimes. So I'm looking really, especially back here at the west, as we enjoy this really just calm rain at the moment. We'll be keeping a closer eye down on what's going on near Charlotte. Some stronger storms here have had tornado warnings on occasion. Now, honestly, I think our tornado risk is pretty low. Coming up, we'll talk about what storms we could see tonight, when they're moving out, and when you can just rest easy. That's coming up next. Hey there, welcome back. Right before the break, we were talking about how a gentle rain is overspreading the Triad. It's gentle enough I toss the umbrella. I'll grab it if I need it, but I'll be fine. Hey, let's talk about the storms, though. Farther to the south, it's really the southern edge here in the Carolinas that I'll be watching more closely over the next couple of hours. This storm near Charlotte has weakened, but this one to the south of them in South Carolina does have a tornado warning on it. Now, this is not headed toward us, but it just kind of goes to show you we'll have to keep an eye on all of these storms that are moving our way through the evening and even a little bit into the overnight hours. Reason being, very strong weather system here in the deep south. Tornado outbreak is ongoing in Alabama and Mississippi, areas like that. Now for us, here's our severe weather risk. Ranks just a 1 out of 5 on the severe weather threat scale. Pretty low, but it's not 0. So I just want you to kind of keep checking back on the forecast bit by bit. Tomorrow that threat is going to shift to our east, also a low threat. So overall, our threat here in the Triad is not all that big. However, as we go through the evening, I'm going to be watching the radar for you. If there's any warning at any time, whether it's a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning, I'm going to push it out. You can get our mobile app. You'll get those alerts very easily, and you'll know what action to take because you already have that plan in place, right? Going into tonight, we'll still see showers and storms through about midnight, and then after that, we'll get a bit of a break. The final push will be with the actual cold front, which rolls through in the early morning hours. Basically between 7 in the morning and 10 in the morning is when we are finishing up. The main threats we'd be looking at tonight would generally be a flood threat with some heavy rain, especially in the foothills, but also a low threat of damaging winds or hail. The tornado threat is there, but it's low. Pretty low for our area. This is the overall system. You see how strong it is. It will be pushing by, so by 9 in the morning tomorrow, it's out of here, and we will get sunshine. We'll be up to around 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon for the first time all year. Now, for the weekend, if you're trying to plan things, I realize it's tough. This has changed quite a lot throughout the week. Saturday looking all right through about 4 in the afternoon. After that, there could be scattered showers and storms. Sunday, another round of midday showers and storms. It's kind of a busy spring pattern, isn't it? So overnight tonight, rain and scattered storms. I want you to just stay weather aware. Keep checking up on your phone. Make sure you don't have any weather alerts for your area, and make sure there's a way for you to get weather alerts if need be overnight tonight. Have those alerts turned on your cell phone. 80 is the high tomorrow afternoon and evening. I'll tell you, it's a warm day of weather. We're in the mid-70s for both Saturday and for Sunday. Best time to be outside, probably midday Saturday to Saturday morning. Sunday, you'll have to wait until the late afternoon before things clear out.
The 21-year-old man suspected of murdering 10 people at a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado, made his first court appearance this morning. Ahmed Alyssa's lawyers told the judge he has a mental illness and asked for more time to prepare their case. He's facing 10 murder charges, and prosecutors say more charges are coming. Alyssa is in jail without bond tonight. If found guilty, he could get life in prison.
A massive ship is stuck in the Suez Canal, completely blocking it and shutting down one of the world's most active trade routes. More than $3 billion worth of cargo pass through this Egyptian channel every day. But today, ships carrying everything from medical equipment, oil and food can't get through. Crews on smaller tugboats are trying to free the vessel. There are reports getting the ship unstuck could take weeks if all of its cargo needs to be unloaded.
Social media companies were in the hot seat on Capitol Hill today. Company leaders testified before Congress about misinformation on their platforms and how it could have played a role leading up to the assault on the Capitol. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg recommended reforming what's called the Communications Decency Act. It gives social media companies immunity from liability for content on their platforms. Zuckerberg says he wants to see some of that immunity taken away, with more responsibility on social media companies. Lawmakers are urging a standard for rules and accountability to prevent what happened on January 6th. We'll be right back.
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Yeah, you. I love your blouse. It's a beautiful color. It's from Amazon and very cheap.
Hey, have you heard of the Disco Turkeys? It's the name of the new baseball team in Winston-Salem.
Yeah, the Disco Turkeys are part of the All-American Amateur Baseball Association with rosters made up of players who have competed locally in high school and college. As for that one-of-a-kind team name, here's the reasoning behind it.
There has been a movement about, bringing in things that have maybe meme inspiration, viral quality to them. And I won't lie and say that wasn't an aspect of what we were thinking, but we didn't want to do something that just was surface level. It has more of a fuller quality to it because you can play off of music as well.
And he's right about the viral quality. All these sportscasters from all over the country were talking about the Disco Turkeys yesterday. What do you think of the name?
I think it makes them stand out.
Absolutely.
I like it.
I'd never heard of a disco turkey before.
I don't know if anybody has.
I still don't know what it means. I don't know that they explained it very well, but I am in. I am all in on the disco turkeys.
I'm wondering whether there'll be a chicken dance type of dance that goes along with it. I mean, obviously it's not a chicken, but it's a turkey, and it's a fowl.
I posted about it, and I don't have a sports page, and I already got all these people saying, I want koozies, I want the shirts, I want the merchandise. People that don't even live here. And now they want to see Winston-Salem college player basketball.
That's great.
Or baseball, sorry.
Right.
We'll have to check it out.
All right, so let's transition to our newest member of the team. Lauren Coleman just got here a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. Today is your first day on air. You're normally going to anchor aside Julie Luck today. She's off, but she will be here with Julie every single day. And so glad to have you here, and today's the day.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here. As you said, I've been in Greensboro about 3 weeks already, but I'm actually, I have a little connection to North Carolina. I was born in Fort Bragg. My dad's a retired Army colonel, so moved around a lot, lived overseas some, but just excited to be back in North Carolina and learn what it has to offer.
We try to offer Chamber of Commerce weather to people who are new here, and so far I think you've had pretty good weather.
Yeah, pretty good weather.
Except
a little bit of
for
rain. There's been some rain.
A couple tornadoes, this and that.
Oh,
but we did have the nice warmth. We had the warmth, and tomorrow sunny and 80 for your second day on air. So
well, I'll have to enjoy the weekend and all the sunshine.
That's right.
We're glad you're here. We'll be right back.
Can have it. Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie.
Lachelle Yates, Director of Communications for the Better Business Bureau of Central and Northwest North Carolina. We're going to talk about
I don't know who the Zipwhip person is. Maybe they don't remember that they're doing it. Okay. You hear it all the time. Don't click links or attachments from people you don't know. Protect your financial information. Shop online with a designated credit card or use Apple or Google Pay. Set up alerts so you know if your account is being used for a purchase. All of these ways to keep your accounts from what? Getting hacked. That's right. But today, guess what? We're going to talk about everything you do to get hacked. This is with the Better Business Bureau. Today, Lachelle Yates from the Better Business Bureau is here to talk about all the things that you're doing. She's an expert on all things scam and consumer protection related. She's here to answer your questions. Here's how you get one of your questions answered on air. You text your question. The number is 336-379-5775. This is a text only, so please don't call, but we'll keep the number up for the next 2 segments here. All right, Lachelle, let's start with this because this is kind of counterintuitive. We're starting with what people are doing to get hacked. So what are people doing to get hacked?
Yeah, so it's a little tongue-in-cheek. And first is people are taking surveys.
Oh, yes.
Sounds like fun, I know, especially right now. We're all kind of bored, but there can be some real consequences.
Yeah, and so this is one of those things of what kind of princess are you, you know, that kind of stuff. We don't want to do that. All right, the next thing is they keep their social media privacy settings public.
Yeah, so think of all the information that's in your settings, and all you're doing is just opening that up to scammers. So you want to actually set that to not public, so that only your friends can see it. Yes, you're going to have to get those friend requests, but it's better than letting everybody know, including scammers, what your personal information is.
Okay, and then this next one is talking about how we don't operate our phone operation systems or our home computers or our apps as often as we should, and that is causing us to get hacked.
It is, believe it or not, besides clicking on malicious links, this is the second most way that people actually get hacked. And you know, software companies, they'll discover a flaw, and so then they send out a fix. And if you don't download that fix, then you are leaving your computer open to cyber criminals.
All right, so the last thing, let's talk about this, is the password protection. And so a lot of folks have talked about how, you know, they don't want to have to do the extra steps, but let's talk about why the extra steps are worth it.
Just think about, you know, you set your phone down and somebody comes along and they just touch it and up pops your screen where they can quickly access anything that they want. And you may think you're only away from the table at the coffee shop for 2 seconds, but you're away longer than you think, and you're just leaving it open. Or God forbid you actually lose your phone, and then people have access to all of that information. So you want to password protect it.
Okay, so one of the easiest ways to protect yourself is to shred your documents. And of course, 2 Wants to Know usually does a shred once a year. With COVID, we are kind of figuring out how it's getting done. In the meantime, you're picking up the ball, you're running with it. You've got a shred. Let's talk about when, where, and what we need to know about it.
Sure, yeah. So we have Shred Day coming up on April the 10th, so in a couple weeks. It's from 9 to noon at the Whole Foods that's over in the Friendly Center on Friendly Avenue. And where there's no limit on the number of bags and boxes you can bring. We've all been storing this stuff for a while now, so come on out and see us and bring as much as you need.
Okay, and what types of things do we need to bring that should be shredded instead of just maybe like thrown into the trash?
Yeah, so obviously anything with personal identifying information, bank account information, but you also want to shred your end of benefit statements from your doctor and anything insurance related, because medical ID theft is a big problem. Anything with your kids' information on it, you want to shred that. Tax information, again, anything that you're giving the scammer more than just, your name and your address, you want to shred that.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We want to make sure that you know that you can text your questions to Lachelle, especially if you're about to maybe hire a contractor. How should you pay them? What kinds of things should you get in writing? Why it's not good enough to just agree on something. We're going to talk about that when we come back. The number is there at the bottom of your screen, 336-379-5775.
Oh, wait, this is my ring is caught in my hair and I can't get my microphone. Hi, I couldn't get my FB back in because my hair is literally caught in my ring right now.
All right, welcome back. Lachelle Yates from the Better Business Bureau is here answering your scam-related issue questions, also your consumer protection questions. All right, this is one that, we've had some experience with, and it's kind of a tough one. Once you have been hacked, is there a way to get your account back, even if they have changed your password?
That is a great question. And really what you need to do is reach out to whoever the business is that account is with, because they all seem to have their own individual processes. So if it was your Instagram account, reach out to Instagram. If it was your bank, reach out to them.
Yeah,
and do it quickly.
Yeah, and it's not an easy process, so be in it for the long haul for sure. All right, this person asked, what can a criminal do with a Xerox copy of my driver's license?
So one thing they can do is they need it in order to file taxes in your name, which you definitely don't want them to do. So it's just think about any personal information that is identifiable only to you is something that you don't want criminals to have, because if they haven't thought of it today, they'll think of it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. All right, this person is saying, on the shredding subject, how long are you supposed to keep yearly tax papers?
Yearly tax papers, I believe, is 7 years.
And then this person is asking, how long do you have to keep personal documents of a deceased relative?
You know, that's a really good question. Again, for taxes, for you, if you're still alive, it's 7 years. So you could use that as a rule of thumb, but I'm no tax person and no financial person. So if you really want to be safe, I would say maybe Google that or call the institutions where those accounts were and ask them.
How long you might need it for a certain reason of time. All right, so this person says, my credit union checking account has been hacked several times. My debit card number has been used. Thankfully, I've called and reported it. They're investigating, and they did give me my money back, which is very nice because they don't have to do that. They can wait for a while to do that. It's a chipped card. I thought these cards were more secure.
You know, so the chip cards really have cut down on some of that fraud of people being able to intercept those numbers because they're all scrambled up. But there's other ways people can get your card number. Maybe you gave it to somebody and they wrote it down. And they're always coming up with new ways to try to get at that information since they've used the chip.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about contractors. We just had tornadoes kind of rip through, so there are lots of people who are going to be needing some new roofs, or they're going to be needing some work on their house done, or maybe you're just revamping your house at home. You're doing a small renovation. When it comes to a contractor, what should we get in writing?
You want to get a start date and a finish date. Obviously, the total cost. You might want to know what the penalties are. Think too about how much you actually want to put down. BBB recommends about 10%. Sometimes a business is going to want more than that, but if you can only put 10% down, if they end up scamming you, you haven't lost all that much money. The other thing too is, of course, we say we're the Better Business Bureau, so come to our website, bbb.org, look for an accredited contractor or roofer, because we've vetted them and we check them every year to make sure they have a license, to make sure that they're being honest and fair in their advertising, all of their dealings. And then once you pick out accredited businesses, look for the complaints and for reviews and see what people are saying.
Yeah, and it does take a little bit of time to pick the right person, but it is also a whole lot of money that you've got going on there. A lot of people will say, well, I like to pay everything in cash, but this is one of those situations where you may not want to do that.
Absolutely, because all you're doing is giving them the chance to go cash your check or literally put those dollars in their wallet and never come back. If you can pay it with a credit card, it does give you that extra protection of at least being able to dispute a charge if the work doesn't get done.
All right, let's talk about some employment scams, because there are a lot of them going on right now. How do we know that it's an employment scam? Because so many of the job positions and the application processes look the same.
They do, and let me say up front that people are finding these fake jobs both on sites for jobs like Indeed, or they're being contacted by scammers. So something to look out for is, how do they want to do the hiring? Is it, over just text messaging and boom, you're hired? Although they are starting to use more apps where they can at least even do a face-to-face interview. So they're being a little more high touch. But another red flag is you're hired almost immediately and asked to be put to work. So that sounds great, but you could still be in danger. One, they may ask you for information so they can do a criminal background check, or to direct deposit your check, which of course is giving them all kinds of information to either steal your money or your identity. The other big thing that we're seeing are companies sending checks to people so that they can buy equipment. And unfortunately, these checks, they look real because they are. Scammers are stealing checks and just doing a little Photoshop magic to change out some information. So you go to the bank, you give it to them. They don't catch up front that it's fake. And it can take 2 weeks for a check to actually clear. Just because you've gotten the money in your account doesn't mean it's really there. And so then the scammer says, hey, we need you to buy all of this equipment. Of course, we just sent you a check for it. So you go out and you buy all of this equipment, but the problem is you're buying from a scammer's vendor. And then, of course, the bank comes back and says, hey, that check was fake and you've sent your own money to buy that equipment from the scammer.
Yeah, and I think all of us think, well, then the bank will give me my money back because they'll know that it's fake, and nope, you're the one that's on the hook, so that's always tough. Lachelle, thank you for joining us, and of course, we're going to put all the information for the Shred event and all the other resources about how to spot scams in the Who Wants to Know section. For right now, though, I'm going to hand it off to Maddie.
All right, thank you so much, Tanya. North Carolina's School Safety Toolkit wants to keep students 6 feet apart when they're outside, maybe at recess or in the cafeteria. But when it comes to classrooms, there is a whole different set of guidance. We're going to break that down and explain what districts are doing to keep students safe to in-person learning after the break.
Hey there, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Welcome back. Quick weather update for you across the Triad. We do have a low risk of severe weather tonight. You might not have heard about it, so I just want to let you know that I'm going to be watching the radar very carefully through the late evening, even into parts of the overnight hours. This is what we're seeing right now. Generally nothing threatening, although it is raining quite a bit in Winston-Salem. We have some limited visibility from that right now. It's cooler out to the west, warmer out to the east. Those warmer areas, well, you have to kind of watch things here, but I'm encouraged by what I've seen on radar over the last 30 or so minutes. We are having rain move into the area, but there are no storms in this right now, and that's a good thing. Now, farther down towards Charlotte, there have been some issues. There was a tornado warning on that storm. That's not the case anymore. It's weakened a little bit. So hopefully that trend does continue as they move into our area. The problem is farther out to the west, there's a lot more action building, and this is going to take a while to move through our area. Right now, our threat level for severe weather, just a 1 out of 5 overnight tonight. But I want you to just make sure you have a way to receive warnings while you're sleeping. Have those alerts turned on your phone. even just to be on the safe side in case any of these storms should be a little bit rougher overnight tonight. We could see a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings posted, low threat of any tornadoes for our area. All of the rough weather should be moving through by about 7 to 9 tomorrow morning. So that's a pretty long time frame. We're going to still have to pay attention through the early morning hours. After that, we'll have sunshine with a high of 80 tomorrow afternoon.
Happening tonight, the Guilford County School Board and Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board are meeting to talk about what needs to be done to get students back in classrooms full time. They're shooting for Plan A, a full return to in-person learning 5 days a week. Now, this comes after state health leaders urged districts to return to in-person learning as much as possible. The state updated its Strong Schools NC Public Health Toolkit, which offers some guidance on ways districts can bring more students back to classrooms. Governor Cooper signed the school reopening bill into law on March 11th, nearly 1 year after the state shut down schools to in-person learning because of the pandemic. Now, this bill requires all elementary schools to move to Plan A and leaves the decision up to the districts whether to keep middle and high schools under Plan B or A. If the districts opt for daily in-person classes, they have to notify the state health department and give them a plan on how they're going to keep everyone safe. State leaders say getting kids back in the course of action for their academics, mental health, and safety is top of mind. One Triad mom says she's already seeing the difference in her student since he returned.
We can already see the improvement in both his attitude, his personality, his grades, just his eagerness to get back to school and being wanting to be able to learn more and being less distracted and less aggravated at home.
So what is happening tonight? The two largest districts in the Triad are going to work on their plan to give to state leaders. Under the state's updated toolkit, if schools go back to Plan A, minimal social distancing is required. Plan B requires at least 6 feet of social distance. Districts also need a plan for high-risk students and teachers and staff so they can learn remotely or have other learning options available to them if families decide to keep a student home for the year. When districts submit a new plan to the state, they have to include scenarios outlining all 3 options for Plans A, B, and C just in case anything happens. So what are Triad districts doing? Well, right now Stokes County has all students in school all week. Rockingham County's pre-K through 5th grade students are back every day. The district's middle and high school students will return to in-person learning 5 days a week starting next week. Asheboro City Schools pre-K through 5th are in school only 4 days a week, and Wednesday is a remote learning day. The district's higher grade levels will move to Plan A in April. 5th grade teacher Laura King says she is happy to be back on a normal routine.
Been very, very happy that they're all back here together, and it's so much better to have a full classroom. I feel like I don't think I realized how much it puts a pep in my step to have all my students back here.
So Plans A and B may be different, but there are requirements that school districts have to follow no matter what plan their students are under. First, there needs to be 6 feet of space between you and me. That's about where you are from the camera and where I'm standing right now. And this is in places like common areas, bathrooms, lunch cafeterias. The same goes for teachers, but they will make marks on the floor, making sure everybody knows what 6 feet of space looks like. You'll also have to wear a mask in order to protect ourselves and others. Parents will see more teachers and staff at arrival and dismissal, trying to keep students from getting together and helping them get into cars. Self-service meals or drinks will no longer be allowed at schools. Everything has to be individually wrapped and served to students. Districts are also required to suspend in-person activities where large groups cannot social distance. This may include assemblies, performances, and even field trips. The state's Plan A follows CDC guidelines, suggesting that students can be at least 3 feet apart when they're sitting in their desk. The 6 feet I mentioned before is in places outside of the classroom, anywhere where a mask can't be worn. However, teachers have to remain 6 feet away from students. You may remember the CDC recently announced that schools could return to in-person learning with students spaced at least 3 feet apart. But before you panic, the agency says this is a safe distance for students to learn, keeping the spread of the virus low.
Layered mitigation strategies, including strict use of masks among students and a distance of at least 3 feet between students, were common factors among the schools in these studies that demonstrated decreased transmission from COVID-19. This additional evidence continues to underscore why it is so important for schools to use layered prevention strategies to provide the greatest level of protection.
North Carolina's Plan A and Plan B recommend separating students and staff into cohorts if the school runs into an issue where distancing is hard to maintain. Let's take a look at the school toolkit's mask requirements. Basically, everyone is required to wear an approved face mask, but there are some exceptions. If a student or staff member has a medical condition like trouble breathing or can't put the mask on without help, if the child is under 5 years old, if they're actively eating or drinking, if someone is speaking to another person who has a hearing impairment, or giving a speech for a broadcast or audience, schools are recommended to provide both reusable and disposable face masks for students and for staff. More than 20,000 Guilford County elementary school students return to in-person learning in some way before winter break. This is the plan Guilford County middle and high school students are currently under. Students are divided into cohorts and will be phased back into classrooms over the last 3 weeks. Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras previously told WFMY News 2 that she doesn't foresee middle and high school students moving out of Plan B this semester.
We have said from the beginning, we believe students should be in school. However, I have spoken to the middle and high school principals, and it would be very difficult to make this happen at this point.
Guilford County Schools says some issues they're facing with the full re-entry include staffing, transportation, and moving furniture back into buildings. The district moved some of that furniture and other items out of classrooms to help maintain social distance.
All of that furniture would have to be moved back in the buildings. It's a massive task, but it's not undoable. What is a greater concern is trying to change transportation plans. It takes us about 2 months to establish routing.
Now let's move over to Winston-Salem. Forsyth County Schools. Back in February, the school board approved a plan to bring kids back to classrooms more days each week. Students started a phased cohort re-entry plan. Earlier this month, 4th and 5th grade cohorts were dissolved so students could return to class 4 days a week. Now all elementary school students are back in the building 4 days a week, with Wednesday being a flex day. The school board updated that re-entry plan this week. It reduces the number of groups at high schools from 4 to 2 beginning in April. Clemens Middle School switched from 4 to 2 cohorts last week. The district said the other 4 middle schools need to maintain 4 cohorts to follow social distancing guidelines. But remember, that could all change tonight once the school board meets. The districts have until early April to submit their plans to the state, and there is a lot for districts to consider when adjusting the plans this close to the end of the school year. The good news is more people are getting vaccinated in North Carolina. Just moments ago, Governor Cooper announced that the state is opening vaccines to the rest of Group 4 and all of Group 5 earlier than previously planned. When everyone can get their vaccine is coming up next. Stick around for WFMY News 2 at 6.
Hello, 12345 12345 678910.
Hi, Moderna has started vaccinating children 6 months to 11 years old. Both Pfizer and Moderna have already started.
Hi, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan.
and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Still waiting on a stimulus payment. It's not time to worry yet why the money might be delayed.
Right now, Guilford County schools are meeting to talk about the state's new COVID safety recommendations. A look at the toolkit's changes.
We may have some opportunities for our kids here.
Vaccine trials for children, when you may be able to get your kid enrolled.
For months, we have kept track of groups eligible for a vaccine and who fell into each group.
But pretty soon, none of that is going to matter because Governor Roy Cooper is expanding eligibility.
Starting April 7th, every North Carolinian 16 or older will be eligible to get a vaccine.
Because the vaccine is our path to recovery. It is the road to normalcy. As of now, this pandemic is not over yet.
So Group 5 opening up on April 7th. With that moved up, folks who are in Group 4 will also be able to get their vaccine earlier than expected.
WFMY News 2's Zadoria Chumba is digging deeper into the state's new vaccination timeline.
Governor Roy Cooper is speeding up vaccine eligibility. The rest of Group 4 can now get vaccine appointments starting March 31st, while the general public in Group 5 can get their appointments starting April 1st. The governor also announced a partnership to help expand vaccinations to marginalized communities.
We've been faster and have gotten more supply than we had anticipated, and that's fantastic.
Governor Roy Cooper says around 4.3 million vaccine doses have gone out and about 1.5 million people are fully vaccinated.
But in the next couple of months, we'll have enough supply for everyone who wants a vaccine to get one.
It's going to be a really good thing once the world opens back up and we're actually able to be together again, eating and enjoying each other.
Small business owners like Lasagna Holmes Bullware can't wait for a full reopening. For her, more vaccinations means more gatherings and more revenue.
I'm excited to have the vaccination. However, they have the vaccine. However, I still think everybody should be cautious for a while just to make sure we can kind of get back to our norm.
Guilford County business leaders say vaccinating the larger public is a needed boost.
They're ready, they're prepared, they have been prepared. Again, it couldn't come at a better time. If there's vaccines out there that are not being used, that are going to waste, we need to open the window for more people to have access to them.
And starting Friday at 5 p.m., some COVID-19 restrictions will loosen, letting businesses expand operations and increase capacity.
Adura, thank you. If you're not eligible yet but don't want to wait, some Triad counties are already offering appointments to people in Group 5. Randolph, Rockingham, and Davidson are already vaccinating people 16 and older. Randolph is taking appointments now, but the phone line is closed for the day. You can book an appointment tomorrow at 8:30. Rockingham and Davidson appointments are booked, but Davidson will open new slots on Monday.
Everything pretty calm weather-wise, just a gentle rain at the moment for now. But I emphasize for now because things have been changing pretty fast across the state. You see our weather cameras, they're noting that rain moving in. You can see where it's cooled the air a little bit. Still in the 70s in many areas. And I want to show you the radar. This is indicating a lot of rain moving in from the west. It could rain hard at times, not just the next few hours, but all the way through the overnight. There's in fact some heavier batches in Forsyth County right now. Here's what I want you to watch, and I just would ask, please stay weather aware tonight. What I mean by that, have the phone close by, have your alerts turned on even while you're sleeping. And the reason is we've seen some storms like this down by Charlotte try to intensify. There have been a couple of tornado warnings there, even in North Carolina. It's a low chance we'll see them tonight, but it is possible. We'll talk about how the system moves through our area in a few minutes.
Coming up in April, vaccines will only be eligible to kids or people 16 and up, but pharmaceutical companies are studying the use of coronavirus vaccines on younger children. Moderna has started vaccinating children 6 months to 11 years old in a trial. Both Pfizer and Moderna have already started vaccinating children older than 12. Dr. Uhl with Wake Forest Baptist Health says right now there are no clinical trials for kids in our area, but one could be coming to Charlotte in the next month.
There is an effort to potentially have some clinical trials opened up with the Atrium Enterprise down in the Charlotte area in April.
Pfizer says they plan to start clinical trials on kids younger than 12 sometime this spring.
1 year later, and we are still going back and forth on the best way to get kids back into schools. Lawmakers in the state now say a full return is best. But with only 2 months left in the school year, a potential last-minute change is putting some districts in a bind. WFMY News 2's Jess Winters explains.
First, a reopening schools bill was signed into law earlier this month, requiring middle and high schools in North Carolina to operate under Plan A or B. Now this week, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services recommends that all grade levels operate in Plan A, a full in-person return. It's part of the Strong Schools Toolkit update. That also no longer requires screening and temperature checks and advises only 3 feet of social distancing rather than 6 feet for elementary and middle school students. The State Board of Education met Thursday afternoon to discuss the new guidance.
This reopening plans have been a moving target with changing science and additional changes, as the chair said, to the CDC guidance and subsequent changes, therefore, to the state DHHS toolkit.
Some triad districts like Stokes County Schools already moved to Plan A for all grades this week.
It's very important. It's a huge step, and we are just very excited. He couldn't wait to just be back full time. I think he feels better.
While other districts still grapple with the decision. GCS says it's unlikely it'll happen with only 2 months left in the academic year. The Guilford County Board of Education meeting started at 6. The Winston-Salem-Forsyth County Board of Education meeting starts at 7. We'll know more about their reopening plans in the next couple of hours.
A reminder here about what Plan A and Plan B mean. Both plans require mask wearing, good hygiene and cleaning practices, and symptom monitoring. The difference, Plan A has no capacity limits and only requires students to maintain 3 feet of social distance, not 6.
Hospitalizations are on a downward slide today. Check out Guilford County's numbers. There are 47 people in county hospitals with the virus. This is significant. It's the lowest number that we've seen since the county started releasing this data back in early August. The gaps here, as you might remember, are Saturdays and Sundays since the county doesn't report this data over the weekend. Hospitalizations at the state level also improved today. There are 945 North Carolinians in the hospital with the virus. It's 36 fewer than yesterday and breaks our 3-day streak of rising numbers. The increases over the past couple of days weren't major, but it had been more than 2 months since we'd seen 3 back-to-back increases.
Here's the name of the game. Be patient, be hopeful. First of all, make sure you're eligible. And if you are, just know that if you haven't received it, the check's in the mail.
Okay, that makes you laugh a little bit. The check's in the mail, right? He even had a little, wink there when he said that, but he is serious. The IRS has been processing 15 million mailed checks and 5 million mailed debit cards since the last batch of Stimulus 3 payments went out. In the latest release from the IRS, the agency confirms economic impact payments will continue to roll out in batches to millions of Americans in the coming weeks. How many batches of payments? How many weeks will this go on? Well, the IRS isn't saying, and that has folks on disability and Social Security wondering, when is it their time?
people on Social Security, railroad, retirement, and any other kind of government support haven't received their direct payment. Again, the IRS is not releasing a timeline. This is a process, and they're using the term batches. So the first thing is you cannot call the IRS, you can't call the Social Security Administration and get any kind of an update.
Nope, you just can't call. But what we do know is that the IRS confirms more payments of all kinds are still coming. Here are the words direct from the IRS webpage. I'm going to bring it closer so you can see it. Additional batches of payments will be sent in the coming weeks as direct deposits and through the mail as paper checks or debit cards. The vast majority of all economic impact payments will be issued by direct deposit. No action is needed by most taxpayers.